Today, we're digging into a pretty amazing story of transformation. We're going to uncover how a simple root vegetable, yes, a root vegetable, holds the key to a radical new future for thousands of people. So, let's just start with a question. What if the solution to economic uncertainty wasn't some complex, far off technology, but something that's literally been under our feet this whole time? And that brings us right to our focus tropical tuber crops. We're talking about a food source with massive, and for the most part, totally untapped potential. You see, for countless farmers, these crops are just a fundamental part of life, a basic staple for survival. But the story doesn't have to stop there. What if these humble crops could become the foundation for new businesses, new skills, and a whole new way of living? Well, to unlock that kind of potential, you really need a guide. You need someone who looks at a crop and sees an entire ecosystem of opportunity. And that guide is Dr. Sheela Immanuel. She's a principal scientist at an institution that is literally dedicated to the science of these exact crops. She is right at the heart of this revolution. Now, what's so interesting about her background is how perfectly it fits this mission. Her PhD is in agricultural extension, which, if you're not familiar, is basically the science of taking knowledge out of the lab and getting it directly to the people who need it most, the farmers. She specializes in tuber crops, and this is the crucial part. She leads the effort to turn farmers into entrepreneurs. So how does she actually do it? Well, you can think of it as a startup school, but designed specifically for farmers. It's a method for building a business right from the ground up. The official term for this is technology business incubation. I know, it sounds a little corporate, but let's just break it down. All it really means is a complete support system. It gives farmers the skills, the tech, and the mentorship they need to create a whole new business from their own harvest. The journey she takes these farmers on has three really clear steps. First, you have to learn to see the potential. What kind of businesses can you build from these crops? Second, you develop the skills to actually run that business. And third, you learn how to create products that people will actually want to buy. And who are the star ingredients in this whole new venture? We're talking about crops like cassava and yam. These aren't just things you boil for dinner anymore. They're the raw materials for a huge range of new products. This whole process has a name. It's called value addition, and it is such a brilliant concept. You're taking a raw crop that sells for a pretty low price, and you're transforming it into something else, maybe high-grade flour or snacks, or even industrial starches that can sell for a much higher price. That gap, right there, that's where the opportunity is. Okay, so the method. It sounds great in theory, but what does this transformation actually look like in the real world? Let's check out the numbers. The scale of this is seriously impressive. This is not some small little pilot program. Dr. Emmanuel's team has run over 100 different training sessions, going deep into farming communities to share this knowledge. And the reach of those sessions? It's staggering. All told, more than 3,000 farmers, entrepreneurs, and other community members have been directly empowered with these new skills. I mean, just think about that. That's a massive ripple effect across entire regions. So, the real question is, what changes for an individual farmer? Well, before, life was pretty much defined by basic farming and all the uncertainty that comes with it. But after the training, they have real, concrete business skills and access to new technology. This leads directly to a more stable, improved livelihood. They're not just farmers anymore, they're business owners. And this quote from the research really sums it all up. The goal isn't just to throw technology at people. It's to create the motivation for them to adapt it themselves, because they can clearly see the link to a better life. But this impact isn't just about the money. There's a much deeper social transformation happening, and a really crucial part of the research was to actually measure it. A major part of this work was documenting the empowerment levels of women in these communities. This wasn't just about income. Using specific surveys and interviews, the project actually measured changes in things like decision-making power at home, access to resources, and leadership roles. This provides hard data, real evidence of social change, showing how economic opportunity creates more agency for women. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? I think it really comes down to the difference between research that stays in a lab and research that actually changes lives. And to really get it, just look at this comparison. Dr. Emmanuel has published over 100 academic papers, which is a huge deal for spreading knowledge around the world. But she has also completed 17 of these extension research projects. And as you can see, these two things have very different goals. The papers share knowledge, but the projects, they're designed for direct, tangible impact. And that is the absolute key. Those 17 projects are where the rubber meets the road. They represent the trainings, the business support, the technology adoption, all the actual hands-on work that directly leads to a better life on the ground. Which really just leaves us with a final thought. The story of the tropical tuber crop isn't only about agriculture. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes world-changing potential is hidden in the most common places, just waiting for the right person to come along and show us how to unlock it.